OK, Emily Schrader, welcome back to Uncensored to you too. You've posted Nick Kristof should really be fired over this. If such crimes actually occurred, there needs to be a respectable investigation into this behaviour, not an opinion column citing Hamas-affiliated sources. The NYT published an opinion column accusing Israel of systematic sexual abuse the night before a major report documenting Hamas October 7th sexual atrocities was released. Not an investigation, but an opinion piece built heavily on claims from Euromed Monitor, whose leadership has documented ties to Hamas networks. If abuse is happening, it should be investigated, but regurgitating absurd claims such as that Israel trained dogs to rape Palestinians does not help victims of sexual violence. It makes a mockery of them. Shame on the New York Times. Did you find everything in the Hamas report credible and entirely accurate, and you would just take it unquestionably as fact?
We have no way of knowing if every single claim that's made in the Civil Commission's report is accurate. I personally, of course, have no way of knowing that. But what we do know from the Civil Commission report is that it relies on 1,800 hours of footage. It relies on more than 10,000 photos. It relies on forensic evidence that was collected from dead bodies that were there, as well as eyewitness and survivor testimony from the hostages who returned. So there is a lot more evidence that's provided in that report, which I did read in its entirety, 289 pages. In regards to the article by Kristof, my problem with it isn't that such abuses could occur or that there aren't abuses in prisons. It doesn't matter who did it. If it's happening, it's wrong. It deserves a thorough investigation. And I don't believe that Kristof did them a service in this article. I think it actually is an insult if there are indeed victims, as he described, who have been abused in the ways that he described. There needs to be a much more impartial investigation. And furthermore, the sources that he used, I mean, the way that he didn't disclose the associations between Euromed Monitor and Hamas, between what Rami Abdu has said and stood for, what the chairman of the board, Mazen Kahel, has stated. They have both explicitly supported the actions of October 7th on social media themselves. Euromed itself has been a denier of sexual assault and rape on October 7th by Hamas. So there's a lot of complications and problems that simply were not disclosed in this piece.
In the same way that you were open and honest enough to say you don't know if everything in the Hamas report is actually correct, why did you not collectively apply the same view to what Nick Kristof did, given his background as an award-winning journalist?
Because the Civil Commission was based on evidence. It wasn't compiled by a journalist and it wasn't published in an opinion section. In fact, I would probably have been more likely to believe some of the claims that were made by Kristof if it had been done as a news article. And frankly, I think the New York Times has the resources, they have the time, they have the ability to conduct a thorough investigation about this, and they didn't. And I think that that actually does a disservice to any of victims who actually have suffered from sexual harassment or abuse in captivity or otherwise. It's a huge problem journalistically. That said, I'm not denying that something could have occurred, but what? We don't really know. I mean, when you're using sources that are praising Hamas that have affiliations with Hamas, this is incredible.
We all witnessed